Friday night game. We're in Brazil. Los Angeles Chargers get the win over the Kansas City Chiefs. And so they're in first place. By the way, the Chiefs are by themselves.
In last.
For the
first time
AFC
since 2012.
West. Really?
Yeah.
Since 2012? That's pre-Andy Reid?
Mm-hmm.
Chargers 27.
It's pre-Alex
Chiefs
Smith, right?
21. Yeah, 2013, Andy Reid and Alex Smith, I think, both joined the Chiefs. It's all been uphill from there. This was a fun game, back and forth. The Chargers, they had some success early on. They could have been up 10 going into the half. They were up 7 going into the half, and they just held on. I saw a Chargers team that was very aggressive and played this properly going up against the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Chargers threw the ball early and often, ran a lot of play action early, and then late in the game, as things tightened up a little bit, the Chargers remained aggressive, and it was the pass game that really gave them an opportunity to win. Justin Herbert, really good game from him, 25 of 34 for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. And perhaps the most important play, a 19-yard scamper to seal the deal on 3rd and 11. And the Chargers get the win, 27-21 in Brazil.
Yeah, really impressive by the Chargers. They were the better team. They deserved it. Justin Herbert, I thought, had a really good game. He showed, he's now... For a while, he was in that category of is he the next kind of great quarterback or the guy that can push himself into that top tier along with the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, et cetera. And then he kind of slipped away from that. But people, I think, forget sometimes just how injured the guy's been in his career. Like, a lot of his career has been asterisked with that. Yeah, but he was battling rib injuries. Yeah, but he was battling this and that. And okay, that's part of the game. But I think it does mean that if you get him healthy and suddenly you get a run of play where he's not dealing with something, you can get that elite level play from him. Now, obviously, he's one of a few quarterbacks that have to show it on the biggest stages in the playoffs, all that kind of thing. But, Justin Herbert is capable of going out there toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and coming out on top, and that's kind of what he did.
And in the Chargers passing attack, this was a big question last year and coming into this offseason. Ladd McConkey emerged last year as a rookie, as their clear go-to guy, a guy that could win on the inside, on the outside, with speed, with quicks, outstanding route running, and he was wide open for a bunch in this game, 6 catches for 74 yards. But the complementary pieces, they added Keenan Allen back in. He goes 7 catches for 68, classic 9.7 yards per reception for Keenan Allen, including a touchdown. But you've got your get open against zone, right place at the right time, be on the same page with the quarterback, Keenan Allen, and then Quentin Johnston with 2 touchdowns, including the eventual game winner or the deciding touchdown, using his speed and his size. He's good on those shallow crosses, and he was open behind the defense a couple times. Did get his hands on one in the end zone that he could have caught, the usual Quentin Johnston. But, man, if they get him and Allen complementing Ladd McConkey, that's what the Chargers needed, and they got that against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and Quentin Johnston, it feels like they might be starting to at least understand how best to deploy Quentin Johnston to get the most out of him. A lot of sort of shallow crossing routes underneath where you can just use the size and speed and let him run away from coverage and try and get the ball in his hands and make stuff happen after the catch rather than expect him to do, nuanced route running and all that kind of stuff before the catch. This game also had a bunch of weird stuff in it. Number one, you have Travis Kelce taking out Xavier Worthy early in the game, which probably changed the entire thing. Like 3rd snap or something, They run mesh. It's a mess. It looks like a high school running it. And Xavier Worthy at, let's say, $170 runs into a guy that weighs 250, and that's only ending one way. And apparently the way it ended was Xavier Worthy having a complete shoulder dislocation. That's a pretty significant injury for a guy that was, maybe their number 1 wide receiver heading into the season until they get Rashee Rice back. So you're still working on the Rashee Rice thing. Now Xavier Worthy's gone down with a dislocated shoulder. Now you're back to this, like Marquise Brown has still not quite worked out the way they were hoping it would. Juju Smith-Schuster is still there making a play or two, but
best shape of his life, by the way.
Of course. And then, Travis Kelce is a slowed down version of himself. So you're back to this Chiefs offense suddenly being relatively bereft of wide receiver help again.
Chiefs finished with 21 points. I thought the Chargers defense did a really good job. Now, again, the Worthy injury was a factor. We saw the Chiefs, who we talked all offseason about them coming out smoking.
Did you see the video? Did you see the video that's going around of it's a clip of the New Heights show with Taylor Swift where she was talking about how happy and excited she was when they drafted Xavier Worthy? And it's like,
and then Travis takes him
and
out.
so it sort of zooms in on Travis Kelce of like, and then like superimposed with him just running right through Xavier Worthy and wrecking his shoulder. It's like, it all makes sense now.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. I mean, as someone who doesn't have the best spatial awareness and bumps into things pretty often in my life, I could relate to old man Travis here.
And as somebody about 100 pounds smaller than you, I can relate to what happens if the two of those people collide.
Yeah, that was a very check the mic moment. Like bull in a china shop takes out the smaller individual.
It's just
you never know what I'm going to run into.
There's a lot of times we're being
space in the studio. We can run some routes over here.
There's a lot of times we're being 170, 180 pounds on an NFL football field is not a big deal. One of those times is not when you run into a guy that weighs 250 and you didn't see it coming. Like that's one of the few times where it is a major problem, where there's just only one way that's going, and it's just unfortunate. In this instance, it was his own teammate.
So after Worthy goes down, we were expecting, with Worthy's 4.2 speed, they brought in Tyquan Thornton, his 4.29 speed or whatever he's got, and Marquise Brown and his speed. We were expecting the Chiefs to throw the ball down the field. Instead of Worthy getting those targets, it was Thornton. Mahomes missed him a couple times early. Then they hit on one. But we're talking about a Chargers defense. I thought they played great overall. It took a couple Mahomes, special superhuman type plays, that little lob on third down as he's falling down.
Ridiculous.
Then there's a coverage bust on the next play for a long Travis Kelce touchdown. So those two things were tied together. Then there's a 4th and long where Mahomes scrambles out. There's a coverage bust on the back end. He hits a Marquise Brown for 49. It's one of those, I feel like the Chargers played really well on about 90% of the snaps.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs offense really struggled to get anything going on 90% of the snaps, but a couple of those big-time plays for Mahomes and a couple scrambles in there, including a touchdown, that kept the Chiefs in it. So I want to keep an eye on this Chiefs offense, what they're going to do either without Worthy. We're keeping an eye on his shoulder and what that looks like. We're hearing, from 2 weeks to the whole season. Like there's a wide range of what could happen here with Xavier Worthy. And, of course, Rashee Rice is coming back after 6 weeks. But, yeah, the Chiefs offense, they kind of had to revert back to what they were last year, which was a bunch of dink and dunk underneath type stuff because they were missing their top deep threat.
Yeah, I mean, it throws them back into this chaos that they would have hoped to have come out of. We were talking about, will that offense hit the ground running? Well, it's hard to know because 3 snaps in, you lose one of the most key players from the offense, and suddenly it's all got to change again. The other crazy thing was Teair Tart somehow didn't get ejected for like a full-on punch to Travis Kelce's face because it was an open hand strike, and apparently that doesn't get you ejected.
There was debate about how hard you hit, and he ended up batting 2 passes. In there,
2 passes, had a key pressure as well. Like he had about as big an impact as you're going to get from a guy like him over the rest of the course of that game. Right after the moment, he should have been tossed from the game for punching a guy. They came on the broadcast and they were explaining that it was an open hand strike, and that's a different. There used to be a form of MMA. I don't know if it still exists, but it was called pancrase, where one of the rules, they were trying to encourage grappling as opposed to striking. So one of the rules was you could only hit a guy in the face with an open hand strike. And the idea is, well, you're not going to slap somebody unconscious, so they'll use wrestling.
Except in the slap league.
And they'll use wrestling and jiu-jitsu. But there was a guy called Bas Rutten, this crazy Dutch lunatic, who realized that if you punch a guy like this, right? If you literally punch him, it's the same thing, right? All you're doing is opening your hand. So he was blasting dudes unconscious he literally sent the first guy he knocked out to the hospital unconscious, hitting them with open hand strikes. Teair Tart hit Travis Kelce with a Bas Rutten style open hand strike that, because it was open hand, is not how you get ejected.
This is why I love waking up early on a Monday morning to get whatever crazy references you're going to bring up. The one difference there, though, is Travis Kelce's wearing a helmet. Yeah. So whether you're throwing punches or open hand strikes or whatever, it's not exactly the same.
It's exactly the same, other than the fact that he's not, the guy he hit isn't going to hospital. But that's not the delineation, because whoever Shiloh Sanders hit in the head was wearing a helmet as well. He still punched him in the head, so he gets ejected. That's an absurd distinction.
What else did I want to mention on this game? Again, the Chargers, really quick here. We talked a lot last year about the Chiefs and all of their one-possession wins, right? Undefeated in one-possession games. And we spent a lot of time last year saying the Chiefs find a way, they make fewer mistakes than their opponents. And I thought the Chargers, they had an end-of-the-half gaffe where they gave the Chiefs 3 points, basically. The Chiefs did a nice job there. The Chargers, because they stayed aggressive, as the Chiefs came back, these are the types of things over the last few years or during the whole Mahomes era, when the Chiefs are down, they seem to make fewer mistakes. And then we see their opponents sometimes, turtle up a little bit, or they try to, run and, run the clock and, play defense. And the Chargers did not do that at all. When they were up 2 scores, the Chiefs kicked a field goal to get within 6. The Chargers had a chance to, let's just run it out and play defense. We're having a great game. They didn't do that. They stayed aggressive, and they came out throwing. And again, that 3rd and 11, little controversial play for the Chiefs. The thing that we highlighted on the preview show here, that Chris Jones, a few times a game, is going to line up over right tackle, and he usually gets home. I mean, like more often than not, more often than other edge rushers. He takes an inside route on Trey Pipkins, the right tackle. That helped Justin Herbert get outside. So Jones loses contain, and that was exactly what happened with man coverage behind him. 3rd and 11, Herbert, wide open run. And there was some arguing between Drew Tranquill and Chris Jones after that play.
They did. So Chris Jones did that a few times in the game. One was this, one of the key plays in the game where he blows contain trying to make the play. It happened earlier where Joe Alt just absorbed it like it was nothing. Joe Alt playing left tackle looked pretty phenomenal in this game. Like that's one of the things to come out of this game. I mean, it's a problem for the future, but at some point they're going to have 2 outstanding left tackles healthy, and one of them is going to have to go to the right side. It's presumably Joe Alt again, but he's showing that he could be an elite left tackle as well as right tackle based off that performance. And then, one was late in the game where Trey Pipkins, he beats Trey Pipkins inside, but in doing so gives up the edge, and Justin Herbert's athletic enough to make that play. And I get it. I get that argument from both sides. Like, Tranquill's right. He blew contain. It was a bad play by Chris Jones because he didn't get home. However, he usually he makes that play quite often to the point where I think he's earned the sort of the slack to freelance and try and give it a shot. He got the pressure, right? He just didn't finish the pressure because Herbert's athletic enough to outrun him to the edge.
And we've had this debate through the years watching J.J. Watt, watching Aaron Donald. When you're that good, sometimes you take these chances,
right?
But
you have to make the play.
But you got to finish it, right? If Jones is a step quicker and finishes the play, you're like, wow, great job. You took a chance. Right. You went inside. You finished the play. You sealed the deal. Chiefs get the ball back, but he didn't. And credit to Herbert, by the way, who does look healthy. We know he's fast. I thought he played a great game and then sealed it with that run.
Like Lawrence Taylor is the finest example of, you can freelance if you get it right. If you don't get it right, we've got some problems, right? If you finish the play, it's all good. Doesn't matter whether it was in the playbook, doesn't matter, how completely made up it was. If you make the play, everything's good. If you don't make the play, then we have a problem. Chris Jones got halfway to making the play and didn't quite finish it. Justin Herbert beat him. Therefore, it was a problem. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?